It is a hazy and humid start to your Thursday with temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s already. You can tack on about 20 to this. That's where we're headed today and much of next week. I'll show you soon.
Karen Reed and her family breathing a sigh of relief after the long-awaited verdict in her murder trial, how she celebrated her first night of freedom.
Also, former state trooper Michael Proctor breaking his silence on this case, responding to accusations that he framed Karen Reed.
Needham school leaders vowing to make changes after 3 workers are arrested. The reforms coming to Needham schools as NBC 10 Boston Today continues right now.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for waking up and joining us. I'm Latoya Edwards.
And I'm Raul Martinez. We have our meteorologist, Evan Wooten, who joins us. You say it's 70 degrees, 20 degrees more we're going up today.
And normally we're at 75 for a high temperature for this time of year and for this time of the season. So the fact that we're at 70 right now lets you know we got plenty of room to grow this afternoon.
Okay, well, you know what? We deserve this, Tev.
We do. After the long, cold, harsh winters that we've had, the dark winters as well. The sun is inbound today as those clouds continue to break apart with a southwest wind at almost 10 miles an hour. This afternoon, that wind is kicking up from the south and west at nearly 20 miles an hour sustained, folks. So that will get us into the 90s for highs today. There is a heat advisory in place. It's not so much because of the 90-degree temperature. Instead, it's for that heat index value near or up to 101 degrees. No spots on this forecast, although there could be a few spots outside of I-495 today for a few thunderstorms. 1 or 2 could be severe, but by and large, most of us are dry today through Foxborough, Amesbury, and even Brockton. Our highs are near 90 today. That front pushes through tonight, so tomorrow our highs are not as hot, but still comfortable for this time of year in the mid-80s with, yes, a mostly dry weekend on tap. But we have a huge swing in the temperature department. This past Tuesday, we were at 68 degrees. This coming Tuesday, we are near 96. Imagine what that heat index looks like. You don't have to imagine. I'll show you the full forecast in just a moment.
All right, thank you so much. After 2 lengthy trials, a jury found Karen Reed not guilty in the murder of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe.
Well, the dust is just starting to settle from the whirlwind case, but O'Keefe's death really does remain unsolved.
Our NBC 10 Boston team has coverage this morning on the fallout of the verdict. We begin with Manoj Kwangwari live in Dedham with Reed's reaction.
Well, when it comes to Karen Reed, we were able to talk to her a couple times yesterday. She sensed that she was happy, excited, relieved to finally get past all of this. You got to think, since 2022, she has been linked to murder. Now she is clear of all of that, but she says she did not do it alone. Of course, her talented legal team, but also the supporters who were backing her, both emotionally and financially.
Justice. Justice.
And this is what's fair.
I'm so happy. These are happy tears.
Just an indication of the scenes after the verdict. Karen Reed only found guilty of operating under the influence. They held a brief sentence hearing immediately after the verdict, and her punishment, 1-year probation. As for what's next, Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan and Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey have yet to provide comment, but we do know there is a pending civil case against Reed filed by the O'Keefe family. It was first filed last summer, and the suit isn't only against Reed, but also the 2 bars she was drinking at the night before John's death, that being C.F. McCarthy's and the Waterfall Bar and Grill. We'll, of course, continue to keep you updated on this, but for right now, we're live here in Dedham. Manoj Kwangwari, NBC 10 Boston.
That's the moment Karen Reed walked out of the courthouse to a sea of supporters cheering and chanting. While one family is celebrating, there is still a sense of sadness surrounding this case. NBC 10's Alicia Palumbo is live in Canton this morning. Alicia, the O'Keefe family is still suffering.
Yeah, their family friends say at the end of the day, no one has been held responsible for John O'Keefe's death, despite 2 lengthy and painful trials. O'Keefe's lifetime family friend said the verdict is devastating and said this has been a 3.5-year nightmare for them. They said they were disgusted by the cheering outside the courthouse when the verdict was read. O'Keefe's friend John Jackson said they also weren't pleased with Karen Reed's statement outside court that nobody has done more for justice for John O'Keefe than she has.
We watched her interview on the courthouse steps afterwards. It's just unfortunate. If she decided to to make better decisions between 12:30 and 6 a.m., I'd still be here. So, but we respect the jury's decision.
Now, the town of Canton has obviously been deeply divided by this case. The select board said in a statement, today's outcome may bring a sense of relief to some and continue to raise questions for others. We encourage members of the community to move forward together, treating one another with respect through civil, constructive dialogue. Now, people we've spoken with this morning say they hope now that the verdict is in, that this town can begin to heal. We're live in Canton. Alicia Palumbo, NBC 10 Boston.
Alicia, thank you. Actually, the lead investigator in the Karen Reed case is breaking his silence. Michael Proctor was fired from the state police after he testified about sending derogatory text messages about her. Our Jeff Saperstone is live in the newsroom with that. Jeff, what is Proctor now saying about this case?
Raul, good morning. Former trooper and lead investigator Michael Proctor told Dateline he is not corrupt, and he pushed back against accusations from Karen Reed's lawyers that he manipulated key evidence in the case.
Did you crack the taillight to make it look a certain way?
Absolutely not.
Did you frame Karen Reed?
Absolutely not.
So that's just some of that interview. Proctor did not testify in the retrial, but his presence loomed large over the case. The disgraced lead investigator speaking with Dateline, defending his actions and denied accusations of a cover-up. During the first trial, it was revealed that Proctor sent disparaging text messages about Reed to family, friends, and supervisors. State police ultimately suspended Proctor after the first trial, and he was fired. Proctor testified during the first trial that he did not compromise the integrity of the investigation. Now, if you want to watch the full interview with Michael Proctor, you can watch it as part of a 2-hour Dateline special tonight at 9 right here on NBC 10 Boston. For now, we're live in the newsroom. I'm Jeff Saperstone, NBC 10 Boston.
Jeff, thank you. For more coverage of the case and the verdict, head to our website, NBCBoston.com. All of our stories are up right now. There'll be more reaction, and we also will tally the cost of this high-profile trial. Well, another story we're watching this morning. Police are investigating what the Plymouth County DA is calling an apparent murder-suicide. It happened in Brockton. Brockton police responded to a home on North Main Street. This is around 5:40 p.m. yesterday. They found 2 people dead with an apparent gunshot wound. Right now, we don't know what led up to the incident.
Well, we have devastating news this morning out of Revere. A former police officer was killed in a house fire on Washington Avenue Tuesday afternoon. Now, officials say 77-year-old Richard Serino was pulled out of that house. The former officer, who was also a former Marine, was taken to the hospital where he later died.
To work with him and to work alongside him for 25 years, and all of a sudden see him pass, it's heartbreaking.
Serino leaves behind 4 kids, 3 sons and a daughter. One son works as a Revere firefighter. The cause of that fire remains under investigation.
Just a chilling discovery in a 2003 murder case to tell you about. And look at this picture. Paul Herlihy. Police say he was killed inside of his home in Milford, New Hampshire back in August of 2003. However, Tuesday, they arrested and charged his son, 39-year-old Douglas Herlihy, with second-degree murder. The Globe reports Douglas was arrested on charges unrelated to the murder at the time, but was not named a suspect until recently. He's being held without bail. And new this morning, the superintendent of Needham Schools is promising to strengthen the vetting process for new hires. This is according to the Boston Globe. Earlier this week, a 3rd school worker who was arrested for having inappropriate pictures of kids. We're talking about Christopher Carlisle. He's an extended teacher at Elliott Elementary School, placed on leave after being arrested on Monday. Now, a teacher and a band director were arrested earlier this year on similar allegations. The superintendent says he will hire an outside consultant to audit the district's onboarding process. It's unclear if Governor Maura Healey will sign a new spending bill funded by the millionaire's tax. It was sent to her desk yesterday, and this budget plan will put more than $1.3 billion into transportation and education. The source of that money, though, is a 4% tax for those who make more than $1 million a year. The bill includes MBTA improvements and transportation infrastructure upgrades for some towns. There is also more than $100 million for public higher education. A new report reveals the large amount of money Governor Healey puts towards the state-run emergency shelter system. The Boston Herald reports that the Healey administration has spent nearly $830 million. this fiscal year on the housing program. It comes as the officials are still pushing to close the remaining hotels and motels now serving as shelters. It costs taxpayers more than $3,400 a week. Roughly 4,000 families in need in the state are in shelters. Boston has a new soundtrack for the summer.
Well, for the third season in a row, Mayor Michelle Wu has dropped a little mixtape here.
There's something here for everyone. Here's your soundtrack for the summer. At block parties, on your commute, and everything in between.
Well, City Hall releasing the playlist yesterday. The nearly 2-hour-long mixtape features more than a dozen local musicians and DJs from across the Commonwealth. Tunes range from hip-hop tracks to pop vibes, soul, all the way to alternative and Afro beats. If you could find it on Mayor Wu's SoundCloud account there, or search Dear Summer Volume 3 on Spotify and Apple Music.
I gotta check it out. Well, what do cornhole and concerts by the sea have to do with training for the Winter Olympics? We'll take you to the special event in East Boston to explain.
When it comes to the tariffs are paid by the importers.
Scammers are taking advantage of the confusion caused by President Trump's tariffs. The red flags to watch out for next.